I watched my own flesh and blood auction off the soul of my existence from a goddamn hospital bed in Omaha. His voice crackling through the iPad like a bad country western on the fritz. Mom, you're a poor old farmer, clinging to dirt that's worth more as condos than corn. Ethan sneered, his perfect teeth flashing like a used car salesman's promise, while the notary stamped the deed with a finality that echoed louder than my rattling breaths. And as the morphine haze pulled at the edges of my vision, I didn't cry or beg, I smiled, slow and sharp as a scythe through ripe wheat, because he'd just handed me the pitchfork for his own reckoning. That smile wasn't madness, though plenty of folks back in Willow Creek would have called it that if they'd seen it. No. It was the first bloom of a grudge that had been festering since Ethan was knee-high to a soybean stalk, back when I, Athena Hargrove, traded my dreams for his mistakes. Willow Creek, Nebraska, flyover country if there ever was one, where the land stretches flat and unforgiving, and folks measure worth in acres and bloodlines. I'd poured 60 years into that farm, 200 acres of black soil that my daddy clawed from the Dust Bowl's ghost, the kind of earth that could choke a man or feed a nation, depending on the rain. It wasn't just dirt, it was my spine, my swear word against the world that chewed up my ma and spit her out broke. Ethan was supposed to be my legacy, the boy I'd raised alone after his daddy ran off with a bottle and a blonde from Lincoln. I taught him to drive a combine at 12, to mend fences with baling wire and spite, to respect the land like it was kin. But legacies, like corn, rot if you don't watch 'em close. It started small, high school pranks turning to joyrides in my old Ford, the sheriff's lights painting our mailbox red more times than I could count. I covered for him. Always. Boys will be boys, I'd mutter to the deputies, baking them pies laced with apology. But by college, it wasn't boys anymore. Ethan got into agribusiness at the state uni, all shiny brochures and student loans I co-signed without a blink. That's when the real harvest of his hunger showed. I remember the call like it was yesterday, though yesterday was a blur of beeping monitors and jello that tasted like regret. It was sophomore year, and the bank's collections man was at my door.
Hut and Hunt?
Eyes on my boots. Mrs. Hargrove, there's irregularities in your son's tuition account. Embezzlement. They say, siphoning funds from the AG co-op internship. My gut twisted tighter than a knotted lasso. Ethan, with his slick pitches and borrowed watches, had cooked the books for beer money and bets on Cornhuskers games. 20 grand gone.
Poof.
Like dew off a dawn leaf. The feds were sniffing, ready to slap cuffs on him that'd rust his golden future. I didn't hesitate. That night, under the kitchen fluorescence that hummed like angry bees, I forged the papers, made it look like I'd dipped into the farm's equity line for equipment upgrades. A lie so bold it burned my tongue, but I swallowed it whole. Take the farm if you have to, I told the banker the next morning, voice steady as a John Deere. They didn't foreclose. Not then. But the lien hung over us like a thunderhead. Ethan graduated with honors, kissed my cheek, and whispered, "You're the best."
Mom.
I owe you. Owe me.
Ha.
That debt compounded interest faster than any loan shark in Omaha. Cancer came knocking 5 years later. A stage 4 squamous cell beast that started in my lungs from years of diesel fumes and denial. Chemo turned me to bones wrapped in flannel. But I kept the farm running, hiring hands on credit, praying for rain that never came.
Ethan?
He climbed the ladder in Des Moines, some corporate AG giant called AgriCorps, schmoozing suits who saw fields as spreadsheets. Weekends, He'd roll up in his Tesla, all cologne and concern, but his eyes always wandered to the horizon, like he was measuring the place for a subdivision. "Mom, this land's your prison," he'd say over pot roast, fork stabbing a potato like it offended him. "Let me help you sell. Get you into assisted living, real care. Not this backwoods bullshit." I laughed it off at first, chalked it up to city polish rubbing off the country grit. But the calls from lawyers started, slick as hog oil. "Your son has power of attorney, Mrs. Hargrove. He's acting in your best interest." Best interest. By the time I landed in Methodist Hospital, tubes snaking my arms like vindictive vines, the deed was half done. Ethan had flipped the script, convinced the doctors I was incompetent, looped in a conservator who'd never set foot east of I-80. The farm, my anchor, was adrift on a sea of legalese. That video call from a closing? It was the gut punch. There he was, in a conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Des Moines skyline, shaking hands with a developer from Chicago, some weasel in a Brioni suit who eyed the iPad like I was a glitch in his PowerPoint. "Sign here, Mom," Ethan said, sliding the stylus across the screen. "It's for the best. You'll thank me when you're sipping margaritas in Florida." His laugh was a bark, sharp and joyless. And then, off mic but clear as a church bell to my dying ears, poor old farmer, finally cutting loose the dead weight. The notary's stamp hit like a gavel on my coffin nail. 200 acres. Gone for a check that'd fund Ethan's McMansion and my care. But as the screen went black, that smile crept back. Because Ethan, in his infinite wisdom, had overlooked one thing. The farm wasn't just land. It was a vault. And the key, buried deeper than any combine could plow. I'd known about the cancer for 18 months before I told a soul. Not the doctors. I played that card close, but the secret that'd make Ethan's empire crumble. Back when I covered his embezzlement, I'd stashed evidence in a safety deposit box in Lincoln, ledgers, emails, even a taped confession he'd slurred into my voicemail after a bender. "Mom, I fucked up. But you'll fix it, right?" I'd kept it all, not out of spite, but survival. The farm's deed had a codicil, hidden in plain sight among the crop reports, a clause tying the sale to my full faculties, verified by a notary of my choosing. Ethan's rush job skipped that. Invalid. The land was mine, and with it, leverage to drag his skeletons into the light. But revenge isn't a sprint, it's a slow burn, like Nebraska's sun on parched earth. From that bed, I called my old hand, Javier, loyal as the Platte River, who'd lost his own boy to the same corporate grind Ethan chased. "Javi," I rasped, "time to plant some thorns." He smuggled in a burner phone. And we schemed, leaked the docs to AgriCorps' board.
Was that so?
Timed to the ink's dry. Ethan's rise, poised to plummet. Nights blurred into fever dreams of harvest moons and betrayals, the morphine-whispering temptations of mercy. But mercy's for saints, and I'm just a farmer with a grudge. Ethan visited once, post-sale, bearing lilies that wilted faster than his smile. "It's done,
Mom. Peace at last."
He patted my hand, rings glinting like fool's gold. I squeezed back, nails digging just enough. "Peace," I echoed, eyes locked on his. "Like the kind you gave me?" He blinked, unease flickering like heat lightning. Then the nurse bustled in, and he was gone, off to celebrate his windfall. But as the door clicked shut, I tasted it, the tang of coming storm. Willow Creek wouldn't forget Athena Hargrove. And neither would my son. The days dragged. A countdown marked in 4 drips and phantom pains. Javier reported in whispers, the developers circling like vultures. But whispers of the claws spreading through county records. Ethan called, voice oily with worry. Mom. The buyer's pissed, says there's a glitch. You didn't say anything, did you? I feigned frailty, coughing into the receiver. Just resting.
Son.
Dreaming of home. Home. That word lodged in my throat like a fishbone. The farm wasn't bricks and beams, it was memory-made soil, Daddy's calloused hands teaching me to till. The swing where I'd rocked Ethan through colic nights. The barn rafters where I'd hung my hopes like hay bales. Selling it wasn't theft, it was erasure. And for what? Ethan's ladder. Rung by rung. Built on my bent back. Twist 1 came subtle. A flip in the script I'd half expected. AgriCorps HR pinged him. Routine audit. They called it. But Javier had seeded the leak just right. A board member's inbox. Anonymous zip file blooming like milkweed. Ethan's old professor, the one who'd mentored his brilliant internship, got a courtesy copy. By week's end, the Des Moines Register ran a teaser. AgriCorps prodigy faces scrutiny over college-era fraud allegations. No names yet, but Ethan knew. His text lit up my burner. Mom. What the hell? This you? I let it sit. Unanswered. While the chemo cocktail coursed cold fire through my veins. Let him stew. Let the doubt root deep. That's the American way. Ain't it? Pull yourself up. Even if it means yanking someone else under. I'd bootstrapped that farm through droughts and divorces. Ethan had silver-spooned his way to suits and scorn.
Now.
The tables turned, slow as a lazy Susan at a diner. Discharge came mid-October. Leaves turning trader gold outside my window. They wheeled me out to Javier's rusted Chevy. The city air thick with exhaust and false promises. Home. Athena, he asked, eyes in the rearview kind. Home. I nodded. The word a talisman. But not Willow Creek, not yet. First, Lincoln. The safety deposit box waited like a loaded shotgun. The drive blurred, cornfields stripped bare. Billboards hawking futures brighter than mine. In the bank vault's chill. I pulled the envelope, yellowed edges. Contents crisp as Judgment Day. Ledgers in Ethan's looping script. The voicemail cassette labeled confession, do not erase. And the crown jewel, a notarized affidavit from the co-op's old accountant. Dying words swearing I'd shouldered the blame to save my boy's skin. Athena Hargrove, sacrificial lamb for a wolf in wool. Back in the truck. Javier glanced over. You sure? Patrona? This poison, it'll kill you both. I traced the envelope seal. Thumb rough from years of hoe handles. Better poison than forgotten.
Javi.
He sold my name. I'll sell his soul. We hit Willow Creek at dusk. The farm gate creaking welcome like an old friend's arthritic knees. The house stood defiant, though the developer's flags stabbed the front acre like shrapnel.
Inside.
Dust motes danced in slanted light, the air heavy with absence. I sank into my armchair, the one with the Afghan woven from Ma's yarn, and fired up the laptop Javier smuggled. One email. BCC'd to every contact in Ethan's LinkedIn empire. Subject, Harvest of Truth. Attachment, the rest of the story. Send. The whoosh was symphony. The first note in a dirge. Ethan's phone rang before the screen dimmed, caller ID flashing mommy dearest. I answered. Voice honey over gravel. Ethan.
Honey.
Sleep well? You bitch, he hissed.
No preamble.
The Des Moines polish cracking. What did you do? The board's calling emergency. My job. Mom.
It's
Yours, I finished, leaning back. The chair groaning agreement. Like the farm was mine. Funny how that works. Silence. Thick as fog off the Missouri. Then. The flip. Contrition. Slick as ever.
Mom.
Listen. I panicked. The medical bills. Your care, it was too much. I thought. I was saving you. Lies. Layered like Philo. But I let him hang. Come home.
Son.
We'll talk. Face to face. Like family. He bought it. Hook and sinker. Arrived at dawn. Tesla purring up the drive like a tomcat in heat. Step through the door. Ty askew. Eyes bloodshot from all-nighters or bourbon. I didn't care which. Mom, he started. Arms open for the hug that'd seal forgiveness. But I held up the envelope. Fanned of judgment.
Seat.
He did. Perch-wise on the sofa's edge. The boy who'd once begged for bedtime stories now begging for bail. I laid it out. Piece by damning piece. The embezzlement. The cover. The lien that starved the farm slow. You didn't just steal land.
Ethan.
You stole time, mine. Your daddy's ghost. Every dawn I drag myself to the fields while you chase skyscrapers. His face cycled. Denial to rage to that schemer's glint. So what? You want money? Half the proceeds, hell. All of it. Just call off the dogs. Flip again offer. Then accusation. You set me up. From the start. Hoarding that crap like some hillbilly blackmailer. The word stung. Hillbilly from my own blood. But I swallowed it. Spat back truth. Blackmailer?
No. Son.
Farmer. And this harvest? It's yours. That's when the storm broke, literal. Rain lashing windows like accusations. Ethan bolted upright, pacing the creaky boards. You're dying?
Mom.
This spite, it's beneath you. Let me fix it. I'll buy back the land.
Confess to the co-op if I have to.
Clean slate. Tempting. That olive branch. Olive as his eyes when he was small. But controversy brews in the gray. And here's where sides split. Was I the monster? Twisting maternal love into a noose? Or he? The prodigal turned predator? I watched him. Rain drumming dirge. And felt the pull, forgive. Fade quiet. But the farm's ghost whispered no. Too late, I said. Voice steady. The email's viral now. AgriCorp's done with you. And the developers? They'll hear about the clause tomorrow. Your check bounces.
Ethan.
Bounces hard. He lunged then. Not violent, never that. My careful boy, but grabbing the envelope. Tearing at it like it was his future. Pages fluttered. Confetti of ruin. You ruined me. For what? A pile of dirt. For everything, I whispered. As sirens wailed distant. Javier's call to the sheriff. Anonymous tip on a disturbance. Ethan froze. Realization dawning. Cops?
Mom. No.
Yes. The door burst. Badges flashing. Cuffs clicking like harvest shears. They read rights while he babbled. She's lying, it's her fault. But the evidence rode with them. My gift to justice delayed. Alone again. Rain easing to patter. I smiled anew. First blood. But revenge,
Like farming?
is seasonal. Winter loomed, and with it, the real freeze. Winter clamped down on Willow Creek like a vice. Frost etching the windows with accusations I couldn't scrub away. The farm lay fallow, developers' machines idling at the gate like yellow beasts scenting weakness. But the claws held, my notarized ghost in the machine, stalling their bulldozers with lawsuits and limbo. Ethan stewed in a county lockup, charged with fraud on the old embezzlement, bail set high as a grain elevator. His calls came collect, voice stripped to wire. Mom.
Post it.
I need out. I let him ring, the silence my sharpest tool. Javier tended me like a crop gone leggy, soups from the co-op.
Pills portion precise.
Stories of his Rosaback in Guadalajara to chase the chill. Athena. This cold eats the heart, he'd say, stoking the wood stove with oak chunks that snapped like Ethan's denials. But my heart, it was cauterized, seared by Betrayal's brand. Nights, I'd wander the empty rooms, fingers trailing dust on photo frames. Ethan at 5. Gap-toothed grin astride a pony. At 15. Diploma in hand, my arm around his shoulders like a yoke. Lies. All of it. Or half-truths at best. The farm had been our tether. Frayed by his ambition. Snapped by my hand. Twist 2 slithered in mid-January. Slick as a weasel under barn slats. A lawyer showed. Not Ethan's public defender, but a shark from Omaha. Pinstripes pressed. Briefcase monogrammed with expectations. Mrs.
Hargrove.
I'm retained by AgriCorps. Off the record. Drop the leaks. And we make the charges vanish. Your son walks.
And
Compensation for the farm. He slid a folder across the kitchen table. Numbers swimming like minnows in a mud puddle, 7 figures. Enough to buy a condo in Phoenix and forget Nebraska's bite. I flipped pages. The offer gleaming like fool's gold in a panner's dream. Temptation gnawed, cash for comfort, a soft landing for my bones. Ethan free. Me faded rich in the sun. But the fine print whispered, non-disclosure. Gag on the truth. AgriCorps' claws retracting slow. And if I say no? I asked, folding the folder shut. The shark's smile didn't reach his eyes. Then your boy's career? Fertilizer. And you, well, corporations don't forget. Threat veiled as advice. American as apple pie with arsenic. I stood. Slow. Joints protesting like old gates. Tell your bosses, Athena Hargrove don't trade dirt for dollars. Not anymore. He left with a nod. But the seed was planted, doubt. That most corrosive weed. Was I avenging? Or just vengeful? Ethan, for all his scheming, had been my son flawed. Scorching, but vital.
now.
I was eclipsing him, and the shadow chilled me deeper than January winds. The mail brought the next flip, a letter.
Aaron.
Ethan's scrawl shaky as a drunk's aim. Mom.
I'm sorry.
Not the polished kind, I mean bone deep. I sold the farm 'cause I hated seeing you suffer. Chained to that place while I flew free. But I get it now, freedom's illusion if it's built on your cage. Let me make it right. Sign the bail, and I'll deed it back, swear on your life. Tears smudged the ink. Or so it seemed. My boy, cracking under concrete weight. I burned it in the stove, flames licking words like lies. But sleep evaded, ghosts parading, the night I'd forged those papers. pen heavy as sin. Ethan sobs on the line. Mom. They'll ruin me.
Ruin.
We'd both been ruined. Different plows. Dawn found me at the window, watching snow sift silent over furrows frozen hard. Mercy tugged. A soft south wind, but grudge gusted north. Unrelenting. Javier caught me there. Coffee steaming in mugs chipped from better days. Patrona. The boy's lawyer called. Says Ethan's talking plea. Full confession. Restitution to the co-op.
You're doing?
I sipped. Bitter as chicory. Half. The rest is his mirror. Word spread through town like gossip at the feed store. Athena's stand. The old girl with cancer lungs spitting fire on her own kin. Sides cleaved, folks at the diner muttering. She's bitter as wormwood. That one should have let the boy fly. Others nodded sage. Hargrove blood runs deep. Betrayal's the ultimate drought. Controversy crackled. Coffee clutch debates, turning to barstool brawls. I ignored it. Focused on the fields, petitioned the court to void the sale. Citing incapacity. My hospital logs as proof. The judge. A crone with crow's feet from squinting at deeds. Granted a stay, land locked in limbo. Developers foaming like mad cows. Ethan's trial loomed. Valentine's Day fitting as irony's bouquet. I testified. Voice rasping through oxygen mask. Laying out the cover like a harvest spread. Dates.
$.
The voicemail played for the jury, his voice. Young and wrecked.
Pleading.
Gasps rippled. The kind that judge gavels down. Ethan's eyes met mine across the oak divide. Not hate but hollow. My schemer stripped to supplicant. Your Honor, I concluded. He took my farm, but I took his shame. We're even. Or near enough. The prosecution pushed hard, felony fraud. 5 years minimum, but Ethan's flips saved him. Tearful allocution. Blaming youth's folly and a mother's blind love. The jury split. Deliberating 3 days. Emerging with probation. Restitution. Community service on, get this, the farm he sold. Poetic. Or punitive. Readers argue that won over beers. He came home post-sentencing. Chains metaphorical now. Hauling trash bags of city castoffs. Willow Creek eyed him wary. But I met him at the gate. Arms crossed over my fading frame. Welcome back. Farmer.
No imbras.
Just the weight of what's unsaid. Spring teased early. Mud sucking at boots like old regrets. We worked side by side, him mending what machines marred. Me directing from the porch. Inhaler in fist. Conversations came halting, weather first, then weather of the soul. Why'd you do it, Mom? The leaks. The cops could have just talked. I plucked at my shawl. Threads fraying like trust. Talk. You sold while I breathed tubes. Words were weeds then. He nodded. Hoe biting earth. I flipped. Yeah. Thoughts selling freed us both. But it chained me worse. Admission. Raw as peeled sod. For a week. Truce held. Meals shared. Silences companionable. Even laughed once. At a fox raiding the henhouse. Ethan's slingshot wild as his youth. But antagonists don't repent clean. They scheme in shades. I caught it in his phone glows late night. Text to the Omaha Shark. Progress? Offer stands? Flipping again. Using reform as cover to buy back quiet. Bury the past with buyout bucks. Agri-Corps dangled carrots. Reinstatement if the family drama died discreet. Rage bloomed slow.
Abay tutil prut.
Confronted him at breakfast. Folder from the lawyer, slapped on Formica. still dancing with devils.
So,
His face cycled, shock, denial, that glint.
Mom.
It's for us, for the farm. They upped it to 8 figures. We win. Clean. Clean? I laughed. Cough, rattling ribs. Your clean's my grave.
Get out. He didn't.
Stormed instead. Voice rising like thunderhead. You're killing us both. This grudge, it's cancer worse than yours.
Doorschlemd.
Tires spun gravel to shrapnel. Alone. I wheezed. The betrayal's echo louder than leaving. Climax brewed that night. Full moon mocking with milky light. Developers breached the stay. Court clerk bribed? Or just bold? Dozers growling at dawn. Chewing fence rose like gristle. I called Ethan. Voice steel. Choose.
Now.
Them or us. He arrived frantic. Tesla fishtailing. But not alone, the shark and passenger. Briefcase bait. Mom.
Sign.
End this. The dozer blade bit first earth. A scar across my heart's field. Ethan pleaded. Flipping frantic. I confess everything, public. On X. Whatever. Just stop the machines. Controversy peaked here. The split razor sharp. Hero or harpy. I grabbed the burner. Live streaming to town group chat. Watch. Willow Creek. My son sold my soul. Will he buy it back? Views spiked. Comments flying. Leave the boy be. Hargrove grit. The shark blanched. Ethan paled. Dozer paused at my shout. Back off. Or the confession drops national. They retreated. Tails tucked. But the damage dug deep. Furrows ruined. Trust tilled under. Ethan stayed. Defeated. Hoeing silence. I chose wrong again, he muttered. Always do. Summer scorched in. Crops defiant. But my body betrayed. Scans showed spread. Bones brittle as dry cornstalks. Hospice talked. But I refused. Tethering to the land. Ethan nurse now. Flips faded to fidelity. Soups. Stories. His hand in mine steady. Love you.
Mom.
Always did. Twisted as it was. Twist 3 whispered then. In a doctor's quiet consult. Remission. Partial. The beast shrunk. Not slain. Hope. Controversial as mercy. Tell him? Or let the grudge ripen full. Summer's blaze baked Willow Creek into a skillet. Mirages dancing off asphalt like false promises Ethan used to peddle. The farm healed slow, receded furrows greening stubborn. But scars lingered in topsoil stripped and spirits frayed. My remission news? I pocketed it like a lucky stone, smooth against worry's rough edge. Telling him meant thaw. And thaw risks flood, drowning the distance I'd plowed between us. No. Let him sweat the harvest. Vengeance thrives in uncertainty. Town buzzed electric. The Livestream showdown legend now. Etched in diner lore and Facebook feuds. Athena's apocalypse, they called it.
Halfjest?
Half-hail. Sides hardened, the old guard cheering my stand. Don't let the city boys concrete our roots. While young bucks sided Ethan. Legacy's a chain, cut it or choke. Controversy crackled at gas pumps. A cultural civil war in overalls and Oxfords.
Me?
I tilled neutral. Weeding rows with Javier. Ethan's reform labor a shadow at my flank. He tried. God love his flip-flopping heart. Mornings, he'd rise pre-dawn. Coffee black as regret. Tackling chores with a zeal that bordered zealotry. Gonna make it right. Mom, he'd grunt. Wrestling the tiller through clay clods. Sweat carving channels in dust-caked cheeks. Evenings, weed porch sit. Fireflies winking conspiracy. Him spinning yarns of Agricorps underbelly. Suits who poisoned wells for profit. Lobbied poisons into policy. I was blind, chasing their shine. You're the real deal. Flattery or flicker of truth. His eyes held less glint. More gleam, like a blade dulled, but not discarded. I tested water subtle. Left the Omaha folder on the counter. Bait for the schemer. He burned it himself. Ashes stirred into compost. No more deals with devils, he vowed. Voice cracking on the V. Progress. Or performance. Doubt rooted deep. Vines choking trust. Mid-July brought the heat wave. Air thick as sorghum syrup. Tempers boiling over irrigation disputes. Neighbors feuded. Old man Wilkins accusing me of damming the creek. Starving his herd. Ethan jumped in. Mediator mode. Flipping from farmhand to fixer. Let's survey it fair. Split the flow. We did. Lines redrawn equitable. Handshakes sealing shaky peace. For a breath. Family flickered, him laughing at my limp joke limericks. Me braiding wildflowers into his hatband like when he was coltish. But antagonists scheme eternal. Ethan's came calling in August. Disguised as kin. His aunt, my sister Lila, long estranged in California wine country, rolled up unannounced. Prius purring eco-smug. Arms laden with kale chips and condescension. Athena. Darling. This vendetta? It's devouring you. She air-kissed my cheek. Eyes scanning the sagging porch like a realtor's sneer. Ethan hovered. Eager puppy. While she unpacked. Therapy pamphlets. Forgiveness workshops in Sedona. A check for bridge building, 6 figures. Agricorps laundered through family. The flip was textbook, Lila playing peacekeeper. But her texts I'd glimpsed en route, stall her. Board wants leverage. Blood or not. She was shark spawn. Swimming same currents. Lila, I drawled, folding the check into a paper airplane. Sailing it back. Bridges burn fine fuel. Take your kindling home. Ethan's face fractured. Loyalty's tug of war.
Mom.
She's family. Hear her out. But I saw the calculation. The cost-benefit in his squint. Family? I echoed. Voice whip crack. Like you. Selling shares in mine. Lila gasped theatrical. But Ethan deflated. Flipping to defense. Enough. I'm trying every damn day. You want perfection? Bury me with the hogs. He stormed to the barn. Hammer swinging wild at loose boards. Echoes ringing recrimination. Lila lingered. Saccharine sympathy. He's breaking. Athena. Your poison's potent. I met her gaze. Unblinking. Potent as the antidote he denied. Drive safe. Cease. Coyotes prowl these roads. She left at dusk. Taillights fading to firefly glow. But the rift widened. Ethan sullen. Chores mechanical. Conversations clipped to weather and want. Nights. I'd hear him pacing. Phone whispers to who knows, Lila? Lawyers? The devil's own HR? Paranoia. Perhaps. But betrayal's lens warps true. Harvest loomed. Combines rumbling neighbor fields like distant thunder. Ours? A gamble late corn. Stunted by spring sabotage. But stubborn as Hargrove. Ethan pushed hard. Dawn to dusk. His Tesla traded for a 98 F-150. Rust-flecked relic from my daddy's day. Proving ground, he called it. But I spied the subtext, redemption's runway. Or escape velocity. The accident hit like a rogue gust, twilight. Him on the roof patching hail holes. Ladder slick with dew. Slip. Crack. His leg folding wrong underweight. I found him there, white-faced, bone-jutting denim like accusation. Mom, call 911. Ambulance wailed. Sirens splitting the sepia sky, hauling him to Lincoln General while Javier and I trailed in the Chevy, my heart hammering harder than hammers. Hospital smells assaulted. Antiseptic sting. The undernote of finality I'd fled. Fracture compound. Surgery stat. Doctors murmuring morphine and months off the field. Ethan woke groggy, eyes finding mine first.
Did I fall?
Or did you push? Half joke, half jab. But the vulnerability cracked me.
I said Vitil.
Hand in his splint. The remission secret bubbling like spring sap. You fell.
Son.
Gravity's a bitch. Pulls us all down eventual. He squeezed back. Weak but warm. Don't let the farm go under.
Not now.
Truce tenuous. But twist 4 unfurled in recovery. His phone, charging bedside, buzzed insistent. I glanced, Lila again, board greenlit. Confess minor.
Take the deal.
Farm's yours if you flip on her. The schemer's siren song, luring with land. Rage simmered, but controversy coiled. Was this his test? Or mine? Delete? Or detonate? I chose quiet thunder, snapped a screen grab, forwarded to the county DA with note, extortion attempt. Verify. Then,
To Ethan.
feigning sleep as he stirred. Let him wonder. Let the flip fester. Fall-nipped heels. Leaves carpeting fields in cautionary gold. Ethan homebound. Crutches clacking cadence. Javier and I hauling the crop, ears plump despite odds. A middling yield but ours. Market prices soared. Brokers calling with bids that'd dwarf Agricorp's hush money. Sell? Ethan asked one dusk. Ledger open on knees. Numbers his new Bible.
No.
Flat. Final. His nod slow, but eyes shadowed. The deal's ghost haunting.
Good.
It's home. November winds howled prelude to winter's return. Frost first kill on the vines. Ethan's leg mended crooked, a limp to match his legacy. But he walked the rows anyway, cane-like scepter. Conversations deepened. Grudging peels to core, his daddy's abandonment fueling fear of failure. My covers enabling the spiral. I hated the farm, he admitted. Voice wind-whipped. Saw it as cage, not castle. But you? You built empires from dirt. Empires. I snorted. But pride pricked, first bloom since betrayal's blight. Yet the subtext simmered. Agricorp's pressure. Lila's letters piling unopened. The DA's quiet probe into corporate coercion. Climax's shadow lengthened that Thanksgiving. Table set sparse. Turkey from the co-op. Javier toasting with cores. Ethan carved. Knife steady. But midway, his phone trilled Shark's number. He silenced it. But too late, I'd seen. Answer it, I said. Fork paused midair. Family table. But business calls. He flushed, flipping to fury. It's poison.
Mom.
They're offering everything. The farm deeded free. My record wiped. Even your treatments covered top shelf. The air thickened. Gravy congealing cold.
Javier excused tactful.
Leaving us in arena. Everything but truth, I countered. Plate pushed aside. Sign. And we gagged the grave. Your flips end in silence. His cane thumped emphasis. Truth? Yours is tyranny. I confessed. Labored. Broke, for what? Your grudge gallery. Voices rose. Storming the rafters. Controversy incarnate. Tyrant mother or treacherous son. Neighbors' lights winked distant, as if town held breath. He grabbed the check from his pocket, new offer. 9 figures. Penned in promise. Sign.
Mom.
Or watch it all wither, farm.
Us.
You. My hand trembled. Not age, but ache. The remission a secret sword. Unsheathed now. Whither?
Boy. I'm bloomin'.
Cancers in retreat. Docs say 6 months clear. Maybe more. His jaw slackened. Shock sluice.
You. Hit it?
To what? Break me more. To forge you, I lied. Half true. Or free us both. He crumpled the check. Tossed it to flames. Roaring hearth-devouring deals. No more flips. Yours or mine. Embrace then. Awkward over turkey bones. But real, spines aligned. If scarred. Yet dawn brought twist 5. DA's call. Voice graveled caution. Mrs. Hargrove. The email trace?
Bounced.
Agri-Corps got alibis ironclad. Your son's in crosshairs now. Obstruction. The flip ultimate. My vengeance. Vectoring back. December dusted Willow Creek in deceitful white. Snow veiling sins like a confessional curtain. The DA's call hung heavy as wet wool. Agri-Corps machine. Grinding gears to grind us down. Pinning obstruction on Ethan for colluding in the hush. Evidence? Slim as corn silk. But their lawyers spun gold from gossamer. Depositions deposing my manipulative influence. Controversy crested. Was I puppet master? Strings of spite yanking my boy to ruin? Or corporate colossus? Crushing kin to kill a canary? Ethan took it stoic. Limp amplified by load. But crack spidered, pacing nights. Cane carving furrows in faded rugs. Mutters of should have signed, slipping like loose change. I watched. Heart halved, remission's gift a guilty gleam. My hidden health the hook that hooked us deeper. Fight it, I urged over cocoa steamed with cinnamon lies. Truth's artiller. He nodded, but eyes evaded, flipping inward. Scheming solitude. Javier sensed the shift. Mustache twitching warning. Patrona. Storms inside worse than out. Talk straight. Or lightning strikes blind. Christmas came contrived. Tree trimmed with tinsel tarnished. Gifts wrapped in yesterday's news.
Ethan strung lights solo.
Silhouette stark against sodium glow. While I baked gingerbread men, tough cookies, baked hard against hurt. Under the boughs, he handed a box, deed to the farm, reforged in his name, signed over clean. Yours again.
Mom.
No strings, swear it. Tears pricked. Controversial as contrition, gift or gambit. I accepted. Paper crisp as conscience, but pocketed my doubt. Mary.
Son. Now.
The real present. Dropped the DA case. I recorded Lila's calls. Proof it's their play. His laugh barked brittle.
You.
Bugged family?
Jesus.
Mom. Flipped to awe. Then acid. No wonder I schemed. Apples don't far from vengeful trees. Argument ignited. Ornaments rattling. But truced quick. Hugs hasty. Carols croaked off key. New Year nudged and numb.
Resolutions rusting fast.
The DA pressed. Subpoenaing Ethan for clarifying statements. Agri-Corps shadows lengthening subpoenas of their own. Town tides turned tidal. Petitions circulated. Save Hargrove heir from corporate claws. While whispers winged. Athena's curse. Cursing her own.
Ifanad no flamas.
But fed the fire. Leaked Lila's voicemails to the register. Anonymous drip exposing familial pressure tactics. Backlash bit. Sisters cease and desist. Ethan's pleas. Stop.
Mom.
It's burying me alive. But the schemer surfaced sly. His laptop. Left ajar. Emails to a PI. Dig on Athena's finances. Pre-cancer. Leverage for plea. Flipping again. From victim to viper. Sniffing my secrets for salvation. Rage rooted fresh. But restraint reigned. Remission fragile. Farm's fate fragilar. Confronted gentle. Over mending socks by lamplight. Ethan. The PI? That's low road a hoe. Caught. He crumbled. Cane clattering. Desperate times. DA's got me cornered. Perjury if I flip your script. Mom. You're killing me slow. Tears tracked. Genuine as groundwater. But grudge gurgled up. Slow? Like your sail. While I suffocated. Standoff stalemated. Winter waning to mud's mess. Spring equinox equaled out. Court date set. March thaw mirroring melt. We prepped pro bono. Public defender a pitbull in polyester. But Ethan's flips frayed focus. One day defiant. Deposing drafts damning AgriCorps. Next. Defeatist. Drafting deals and margins. Javier jolted sense. Athena. Take him to the fields. Earth grounds the flighty. We went. Three-legged trio, trudging furrows, greening tentative. Mud-sucking stories from Saul's. Ethan leaned on me more than Cain. Confessions composting. I envied you rooted.
Real.
My climbs? Card houses in cyclones.
Vulnerabilities vine.
But I pruned pity. Envy's excuse.
Son.
Own the storm.
He did.
Halting. Admitting the sail's spite. Not just salvation. The leaks leaked to Lila. Trading my ammo for absolution. Betrayal bidirectional. Binding us brutal. Climax, crested court day. County courthouse creaking under controversy's crowd. Farmers flanking doors. Suits slinking shadows. Reporters roving like red-tailed hawks. Inside. Oak panels opulent. Air acrid with ambition. DA droned first. Painting Ethan puppet. Me puppeteer. Hargrove matriarch orchestrated obstruction. Leveraging maternal malice against megacorp might. Gasps gallery-wide. Sides splintering audible. Then Ethan's turn. Stand teetering on crutches. Voice veined steel. Objection. Your Honor. Mom didn't orchestrate. She survived. AgriCorps? They bought betrayal. But blood buys back. Testimony torrent. Embezzlement echo. Sales shame. My cover's cost. I flipped for fortune. She flipped for family. Judge us equal. Jury jaws jawed. But the shark struck swift. Cross-exam venom. Mr. Hargrove. Your emails, seeking leverage on your mother? Sounds scheming.
Son.
Exhibit flashed. My PI hunch proven poison. Ethan blanched. Flipping frantic. Desperation. Not deceit.
I.
Sustained. But damaged daggers. Recess reeked recrimination. He cornered me cloakroom. Whisper whipped. You knew. Set me up again. Denial died on lips. Guilt's glyph. Knew enough. To test. Betrayal's boomerang. Burying us both. Trial tipped turbulent. Deliberations dragging days. Town tense as bowstring. Verdict veiled till dusk forth. Not guilty. Obstruction overruled. Insufficient intent. AgriCorps' alibis unraveled by my leak's late bloom. Cheers clashed jeers. Courtroom chaos. But Ethan emerged empty, jobless. Limping literal into limbo.
Outside.
Snow squalls swirled spiteful. We huddled truckward. Won, he muttered, but mirthless. Lost everything. Flip final or fracture? Home healed hesitant. Fields flowering fierce. My remission robust. Scans singing clear.
Éternelle tentative.
But talks turn toxic. You used me.
Mom.
Vengeance's vessel. I countered calm. Vessel? You captained the course. Summer sulked in. Storm stewing static. Controversy clung. Community cleaved, some shunning our stoop. Others supping sympathy pies. Lila litigated last libel. But folded fast, Agricorps board balked. Bad press bruising bottom lines. Twist 6 twisted tight. Ethan's offer. August Arbor, sell the farm.
Mom. To me.
Pay off debts. Start small, real AG. Not empire. Eyes earnest.
No glint.
Gift or grift. Deed danced in doubt. But heart hinged hopeful. I signed. Sun searing signature. Land looping back. Legacy laundered. Partners, I stipulated.
No flips.
He grinned. Genuine as grain.
Deal.
Harvest hummed harmony. Yields yielding yield, middling money. Mighty meaning. Nights. We'd porch philosophize. Stars stitching sky. Past plowed under. Remission held, but reminder rang. Life's lease. Not ownership. Yet antagonists arcs long. Agricorps' autumn audit announced. Irregularities in Ethan's old accounts. Fresh fraud flagged. My leaks lag. Looping back. Coincidence, he quizzed. Quill quiet. Cycle, I confessed. Broke it once, might again. Winter whispered warning. But we weathered together. Twisted but true. Winter's wolf whistle waned to spring's whisper by April 2026. Willow Creek waking wary from controversy's coma. The farm flowered fierce, corn curling skyward. Soy shooting stubborn. Partners packed proving potent. Ethan's limp less liability. More landmark. Agricorps audit? Audacious bluff. Blunted by our lawyer's bite, settlement slim. But sting sufficient. Suits scattering like startled quail. Town tides tempered.
Truce tentative, dîner de l'édistant.
But nods neighborly now. Athena's apocalypse anecdote. Not anathema. Ethan evolved. Enigma unraveled, flips fewer. Footing firm. Mornings merged mechanical, him on the planter. Me plotting plots.
Javier Yashin Yangshin.
Evenings evoked elder ease, suppers spice stories. His city slick sloughed for soil savant shine. Miss the Tesla? I teased once. Twine twisting trellis. He chuckled. Calluses cataloging change.
Nah.
This rust bucket's real, leaks oil. Not lies. Laughter laced. Light as locust bloom. But undercurrent coursed. Trusts till. Tender but tested. Remission's rhythm rolled reliable. Quarterly checkups chirping clear. But I braced, cancer's cat. 9 lives or none. Kept it kosher. No hoarding now, shared scans over stake. His squeeze sincere. Proud.
Mom.
Warrior. Word warmed. Thawing grudges glacier remnant. Controversy's coals cooled. But cinders sparked sporadic. Register retrospectives rehashing. Hargrove heist. Online odysseys opining. Athena avenger or abuser.
Forum fomented.
Factions fierce. Maternally militant me versus merciful modern him. Ethan engaged even. Ex-posts parsed. Forgiveness farm slow. Plant. Prune. Pray. Likes lavished. But trolls trolled. Mommy's monster. He blocked. But bothered. They don't get it.
The gray. Gray.
That's gospel now. No black-white binaries in Nebraska's nuance. Just silt-suspended truths. We'd both bled the land. Borrowed its burdens. Revenge reaped reckoning. But roots regrow reluctant. Summer simmered steady. Storms sporadic. Yields yielding yen for expansion. Adjoining acres auctioned. Old Wilkins' widow willing. Ethan eyed eager. Buy. Build co-op. Community crop. Flip the script on AgriCore's game. Ambition's aroma. But absent avarice. I greenlit. Loans low interest local.
Legacy LinkedIn lateral.
Harvest hallowed high, bountiful bushels. Bank balance blooming. Bonfire bash beckon town. Bonhomie brewed. Beers bubbling.
Dans bonsida.
Even Lila lurking lettered apology, sis. Sorry for the shark suit. I air-kissed aloof. But aloud. Water under the bridge. Or creek. Ethan danced then. Limp lilting with a lass from the co-op, local lore. Love's late leaf. Watched wistful. Wondering was this win or waystation. My smile. Once scythe. Softened to scimitar, sharp. But sheathed. Fall's fanfare faded to November's nudge. Anniversary aching. 1 year since sales stab. We commemorated quiet. Candlelit kitchen. Cake consoled with congratulations on surviving. Talks turned testament. Regret it. Mom? The leaks. The lies. I pondered. Pie crust crumbling contemplative.
Regretsrot.
Refined us. Raw as it was. He nodded. Narrative nestled. I'd flip back, do a different.
But damn.
The dirt we dug? Worth the depth. Twist terminal twisted twilight. Doc's December decree. Full remission. 5-year forecast fog-free. Jubilation Jared by Jinx, Ethan's scan. Routine post-limp.
Spot in shadow, lung speck.
Squamous shadow. My beast's bastard brother. Irony incarnate. Inheritance insidious. He took it tacit, telling tardy. Like yours.
Ha.
Poetic payback. No pity party. But plan plotted. Trials in Omaha. Treatments tethered to the farm. Partner still. I queried. Quavering quiet. Always. Cain reclaimed. But spirit soared, flipping fate. Not family. Climax's coda-crested Christmas. Courthouse cleared of charges lingering. AgriCore's appeal axed. Our acquittal absolute. Town toasted tentative triumph. But true tension twined Ethan's trial by treatment. Chemo's churn. My vigil vice. Irony's embrace. Avenger avenged. Spring 2027 sprouted spiteful. His shadow shrunk. But scars scored soul. We sowed solidarity.
Cope burgeoning.
Community clutching close. Shares shared. Soils sanctified. Lila lunched occasional. Contrition cooked cautious. Even developers detoured. Deals dreading Hargrove hex. Controversies corpse cooled complete. But debates danced dormant. Pub philosophizing. Who won the war? Athena's grudge. Or Ethan's grace. No neat nod. Graze the grain. Ground fine. Ending etches enigmatic. Summer solstice. Fields flourishing. Ethan eased. Cancer cowed. Clear as my own. We porch perched. Progeny playing nearby. His lasses little. Our lineage looped. Smile like that first one. Mom, he mused. Memory's mirror. The hospital hook scared me straight. I did. Slow side softened. Harvests in.
Son.
Ripe. And ours. But twists tail tugs. Buried box unearthed by plow. Daddy's letters. Lost legacy lauding Lila as true heir, me mere midwife to mistake.
Ethan?
Not blood. Adopted quiet post-runaway. Revelation ripples. Betrayal's basement deeper. My cover's cradling changeling. Debate detonates. Saint or sinner. Athena? Forged family from fraud. Or faked fury on false sun. He hugs regardless. Blood or not. You're mine. Happy haze. Or haunting half-truth.
Rideron.
But roots run resolute, farm firm. Family forged in fire's forge. Revenge reaps ragged, but regrowth rewards. Willow Creek whispers on, wind weaving our warped tale, poor old farmer. Smiling still, in America's ambivalent amber.